Hey everyone, it's Sarah. If you're watching this video, it means that you may have read my goodbye email, or maybe you heard some of the murmurs and chatter around the office that Sarah would be leaving and going on to other opportunities. And maybe when you asked a friend what Sarah was doing next, they didn't really know and they just kind of shook their head or said, hey, you should talk to Sarah. Honestly, there's probably only about 10 of you that know what I'm moving on to. And I wanted to make this video to really walk you through everybody that I've worked with. I care about you so much, and it's actually pretty painful for me to leave. I've enjoyed a lot of my experiences, and everybody I've worked with is a rock star. Everyone there is the best at what they do. So it's quite painful to leave, especially it's like for the last 5 years I've been with that company. It's like a 5-year relationship, almost like going through a breakup. But of course, this wasn't decided overnight. I've been thinking about this for maybe the last 3 years. And actually this video has been planned for about the last 6 to 8 months. I had an entire script about what I wanted to say. It was all planned out, everything line by line. But as the moment has come, and as we're finally here, we're approaching my last day, the messaging and the things that I wanted to say have changed. And as I've talked with all of you one-on-one, the messaging continues to change as I realize, probably even more of my personal story should be shared with all of you. And so that's what this video is. It's going to take you through the last couple years and some moments. Some of the moments are kind of painful, but some moments that have changed my perspective on life, changed what I wanted out of life, changed my goals. And so thank you for watching. Let's get to it. So where do we start? Again, I had a script before. I don't have a script now. And I think where I want to start is probably the most pivotal moment of my adult life. Okay, this will be hard. Damn it. See, when you have a script, you know what you're going to say, it makes this story easier to tell. But right now, I'm not really sure what's going to come out, so here we go. So 3 years ago, my dad, he was 58 at the time, he died suddenly, unexpectedly, absolutely no warning. I was actually in Baytown, off-site at a work lunch, group of colleagues from my work group, when I had a couple missed calls from my mom, and then a text came through saying, hey, Sarah, call me, it's important. So I kind of left the lunch, went outside, called my mom. She was on a 3-way call with my sister, and I could hear my sister sobbing. And my mom was like, Sarah, honey, Dad's dead. And honestly, from that moment, life has never been the same. I went home to Pittsburgh that night, had some time with my family, and through that process, I realized just how fleeting and how fragile life is, and that we're really only here for a short period of time. And we should use the time that we have to find ourselves and to explore our own interests and our own passions, to really find what we're good at and what we enjoy, and to stop caring about what other people think or other people's metrics of what success is. And so when that all was happening in 2019, I was coming to these revelations about life and about death. To this day, it still blows my mind that we go around on a daily basis and we don't always think about, at least I never really thought about how today might be the last day. And am I really doing what I want to be doing if today is my last day? Though around the same time, I really wasn't enjoying my work at all. Of course, I was going through the motions and trying to do a good job. I always try to do good work, but it really wasn't stirring much inside of me. And I was thinking, okay, what do I do next? Should I get an MBA? I actually considered maybe I should have been a doctor like I thought in the past. Maybe I should go to med school. But ultimately, what I found is what I want is I want more freedom and more autonomy to explore and find the things that I'm really interested in. I feel that through my life, I was paralyzingly insecure through 18, 19, 22, 25, 27. I'm 30 now. But through those years, I truly was doing what I thought others wanted me to do or expected me to do. And I was trying to prove my worth by really doing work that I didn't like and pretending that I liked it. This kind of all started when I was younger. Probably a lot of you might have a similar story where you grew up and people told you that you were intelligent and that you were smart. You kind of internalized that, and you may have then become afraid of doing anything that would be contrary to that opinion, that would say, oh, she's not as smart as we thought she was. So I kind of always felt like I was living up to this expectation that this is what smart people do, right? And in our society, at least, smart people generally go on to higher schooling, at least, traditionally smart people in the way that I'm talking about, go into higher schooling and maybe become doctors or lawyers or bankers, engineers, scientists, managers, right? Those are the normal tracks that we're kind of all fed and expected. And I never stopped to explore if there was another way. And I actually didn't even know what my goals were. I didn't know what I was interested in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I know now. And what I know now is that I want to create my own life and be in control, more in control of what I work on, what my path is. I want to be more in control of how much money I make, but just overall more in control, which I felt for me, I could only really achieve that if I went off and took a complete 180 into a different career path. So if we put those two pictures side by side, the fact that I now have a completely different outlook and perspective on life and to me, what life means to me, and the fact that I felt as though the career path I was on, although I did, make the decisions, do all the hard work to get there, really wasn't, what's the word? I don't feel like it was true to myself. And one reason why I say this is that my mom, I love my mom, she always has tried to do her best to get us to find what we might be interested in for a career, and we always had a lot of leeway in deciding what we wanted to do, what activities we wanted to do. And my mom in 2009 had me take the Johnson O'Connor aptitude test. And this test is something that you take in person with an assessor, and they go through a bunch of tests and try to determine what your natural aptitudes and non-aptitudes are. And through this process, they discovered that probably my strongest aptitude is what's called ideaphoria. I was in the 99th percentile of ideaphoria. This ideaphoria is your ability to think of new things and make connections. My brain is always running and running and running and running, very creative. And from this, they sat me down and said, Sarah, these are some of the skills and careers that would probably feed into your aptitudes. And the foundation believes that if you don't do work that feeds into your aptitudes, that uses your natural aptitudes, that you will not be satisfied or fulfilled by your career. And the list that they gave me at the time, this was in 2009, I was 17, was marketing, advertising, blogging in 2009, that they were ahead of their time, consulting, and small boutique businesses. And then what did I pick for my career? Engineering. And it's so interesting how it's on paper in front of you, but you can be so hard-headed. And I was just really out to prove that I can do it and that I'm smart enough and that I deserve it and I can do it, that I just completely ignored things that made me happy so that I could prove something to someone. I'm going to be making videos to document this journey of mine. I'll include some videos from learnings in the past and how I got to here, some of the nuggets of wisdom, the books I've read, the podcasts I've listened to that have really given me this push. And then I'll talk about, again, my businesses and their successes and their failures. So one thing that after my dad's, it's still so hard to say. Oh, okay. After my dad's death, I went through, of course, I found everything that he's ever given to me. And my dad was someone who, he believes in his kids that we can, make whatever we want of this life. And so something that he gave me was this card. And, it's gonna make me cry. I just wanted to share this with you because, again, it talks about dreams and about taking a once-in-a-lifetime chance to do something that you want. And it says, I see a young lady out in the world, following her dreams, doing good and making a difference. Then I think, hey, that's my kid. And then inside he writes, who else but you is going to chase your dreams? Who else but you is going to chase your dreams? No one. No one. No, to be honest, no one really cares. You can live your life and really no one's going to grab you and make you do the things that you want to do. You just have to take the opportunity yourself. Another gift that my dad gave to me was this painting. In 2013, I won the Department of State Critical Language Scholarship to study Chinese, Mandarin in China, fully funded by the government through the scholarship. And after that, my dad came over, and for 2 weeks we toured China together. And we were in an art gallery, and I saw this painting hanging in the art gallery. It just completely took all of my attention. I was so drawn to it. And it's because it's these, I'll show it for you. It is these red flowers, the vibrant red flowers. There we go. On this scroll, I've never seen anything like it on this scroll. And I just kind of had to learn what the flowers were. Again, I was just pulled to them. And as it turns out, these flowers are called the plum blossom, Meihua in Chinese. And this flower blooms in the wintertime, in the snow, in the harsh conditions. It blooms this vibrant red. And so in China, it's a symbol of perseverance and resilience. And as I heard, the salesperson telling me the story, my dad saw just how captivated I was by the painting, and he bought it for me. And then actually since then, that was in 2013, I have this hanging on my wall, and I truly look at it in hard times, and I try to channel that energy. And for me, it gives me some hope that, no, even though this is a hard time and this is difficult, I can make it through and I will bloom. And so I never really thought that I would bring this inspiration to the United States until I read a book that also contributed to all of this. And I feel actually a little silly telling you about this book just because it's so trite and commonplace. This book, The 4-Hour Workweek, it has changed so many lives. It was written in 2008, 2007, 2008, and I only read it in 2020. And this is really what made me decide, no, I don't want to go back to school. I don't need to go back to school to achieve my goals. I don't need to get another corporate job to achieve my goals. My goals are going to be achieved by me being able to create income on my own. Again, I feel a little silly talking about it. I feel like almost anyone who quits their job and starts a business talks about this book. But there is a line in particular, and it's on the copy that I have. It's on page 44. And it says, "Are you better off than you were 1 year ago?" And when I read that, I thought about 1 year ago. And I thought about even 5 years ago, right? I thought about it in a salary and money dimension, a freedom and autonomy dimension, and also in a job satisfaction dimension. So when it comes to money, are you better off than you were 1 year ago? I think, well, my starting salary was $99,000, and I started as a CL 23. And no, that's not a small sum of money. That's much higher than the average college graduate amount. So I was very excited about that. I felt very proud that I was able to provide that much value to earn that much money. And then over the last 5 years, I have advanced from that CL23 to a CL25, and my salary became $133,000. Of course, this doesn't include all those other benefits that we know we all get, but you know what I mean when I say that base number. And the delta in that money, along with cost of living, really not all that different. At least not enough for me to think, oh, by the time I'm 35, 40, I'll achieve my goals of being financially independent. So I had to say no. In that regard, I'm not better off than I was 1 year ago or 5 years ago. When it comes to the freedom and autonomy dimension, the greatest contributor to happiness in humans and satisfaction in humans is our ability to feel like we're in control of our situation. And so when I think about freedom and autonomy, I'm like, okay, well, I have the normal job where Monday through Friday is expected. You never know what boss you'll get or what work group you'll get. And your work list is basically determined based on your job role. And I haven't really been liking my job roles for quite some time. So if you bucket all that together, I'm like, well, I don't really feel much freedom or autonomy. And then third, from job satisfaction, I think, again, we've already covered, I've been absolutely miserable and not invested in my work. Also, what came of this book was part of the decision-making process. Okay, well, what am I going to do next? And I sat in this miserable space for 1 or 2, probably a good 2 years, where you're just so miserable because you know that you're not in the right place for you, and you're out of place, and you know that there's a different calling for you, and you just don't know what it is, and you don't know how to find it. And for me, at least, that's a real low, because I am driven and find my purpose in super enormous goals, like goals that I'll never be able to achieve. They don't scare me, they propel me. And that's what like gives me life and makes me want to go chase something. And when I'm not connected to my work and I don't see a future career, and honestly, I looked at all of the departments and all of the senior positions, and there wasn't anything that I wanted to be when I, grow up. So this book actually made me realize that I could take some of my past experiences and turn them into businesses. So what I want to share with you is just kind of, this video is not about the businesses that I'm starting. I'm going to make more videos about that. But the one that's going to launch first is called Meihua, and it's dedicated to my dad. And it's scroll paintings, both hand-painted and prints, that have that same inspiration. So every single one of these paintings is going to have some type of story or background or quote on it that's made to help you through hard times. So here's the one I want to show you. We have a couple that are coming out, but this one, just for this video, there we go. So if you're wondering what I've been working on, Sarah's selling paintings. Just like tell people that Sarah's selling paintings. Sarah's selling paintings? It's gonna make no sense, but I guess that's the easiest way to say it. So that was the blue one. I actually have another one I'm gonna show you. I actually thought that in that box that it would be the red one. And the red one is what's really special to me because that's the one that I saw with my dad in China. Ha! There we are. So yes, right now, both red and blue. This is my favorite one, but everyone else has their own favorite. Yeah, I'll be sharing little bits more and more via this YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe, I would love it if you could subscribe and leave some comments down there, maybe some positive comments or some negative comments, like who am I to tell you what to do? Write whatever you want down in the comments. So again, I want to reiterate that everyone makes decisions based on their own values and what's important to them at the time. Right now, where I am in life, I'm able to take a risk. I'm actually really grateful that my decisions up through now have allowed me and afforded me this opportunity to take a risk. And this is by no means saying that we all should go out and just like quit our jobs. My journey was a 3-year journey of self-discovery. What it is trying to say is that really pay attention to why you're doing what you're doing, understand your why, uncover goals and set goals for yourself that are aspirational and that really push you, and try to think outside and dream a little bit, right? And dream and make sure that your dreams are so big that you can't contain them and you have to act on them. And that, very well may be exactly where you are today. There's lots of opportunities and lots of really fun, cool work that y'all are working on. It just wasn't for me. So stay in touch, because again, what I'm going to miss the most about the chapter that I'm closing is working with all of you. All right, let's get to it.